Look, I get it. Being a student is hard because not only are you focused on education and actually studying for your courses, being involved in extracurriculars, making friends, having time to go out and not spending all this time studying and like worrying about a million different things, you also have to focus on how are you going to pay for university and how are you going to find money to spend on activities that you enjoy. Because let's face it, the majority of students, especially in North America, have some sort of student debt or use loans or some sort of like borrowing method to pay for university. This funding and student loans only pay for your basics of university, such as your course fees, sometimes your textbooks if you get lucky, and nothing more than that. So today, I'll be going over 5 ways that I made money during university. So starting off plain and simple is a work-study position or some sort of job on campus. Work-study is a program hosted by many different universities. In particular, the one I'm referring to is at York University. And essentially the way these work is that the university offers students a chance to work on campus in a variety of different positions in any department you can imagine. So the way you apply for these positions is typically through your university hiring portal. And in my experience, you have to fill out a financial profile and they look at if you qualify based on their kind of benchmark for someone needing financial need. So you'll typically fill these profiles out. They'll kind of assess where you're at and see if you qualify for these programs. The great thing is that these programs are very flexible. There's a lot of different positions available on campus and they are paid positions. So in my first year of university, so first year going to second year, I actually worked in a work-study position with my admissions office. It was a really cool experience because I got to work on the administrative side of things, literally got to see how people are admitted into the university. But the best part was that these are paid positions. And at that time, it was minimum wage. But hey, you're at university, anything helps. And the other great part is that these roles are often very flexible and understanding because when you're working on university, the people in these departments, your managers, understand that you're a student because you have to be a student to work in a work-study position. So they're really flexible when it comes to scheduling. I do remember during exam season, I was able to get like a week or two off. Like they're very flexible. This is a great option for you to consider at university if you are looking for some sort of part-time job because it's the best of both worlds. Since I know in traditional part-time jobs in retail and stuff, scheduling can be mission and a half. So having the opportunity to work on campus is a great way to make some extra money on the side. So jumping right into the second way I made money in university is through summer internships. Summer internships are essentially jobs where you work full-time over the summer. And what I'm referring to is more like corporate roles because I went to business school. But summer internships can also be happening in a variety of different fields, whether it be like engineering or some sort of like other technical field. They could also be called a co-op. And summer internships are great because these positions pay a lot more than your typical part-time jobs. They typically pay like your annual salary of like a full-time position. So you'll make a lot more money, a substantial amount of money, and it'll help you kind of make sure that you have money to spend on university outside of your typical things. That being said, summer internships are more challenging to get because they are very competitive. You have to kind of go out there, network, find your way around, apply to these companies, and it's a pretty strenuous process, but honestly, if you can get one, it is well worth it and it gives you a lot of money. But the biggest thing that it gives you is experience and it expands your network and it's something you just put on your resume and really helps you with your career in the future. And lastly, the great thing about summer internships is that they often lead to full-time positions because companies might be interested in hiring you back. So from a long-term career perspective, it's a great opportunity as well. If you're interested in kind of learning how to go about getting these internships, how to network, make sure to check out my networking and interview guides on the channel, as well as a video I made which will be up here somewhere on my recruitment journey in business school. So now that we've gotten the first 2 ways I made money at university, which are your typical working a job, let's dive into the next 3. And these 3 are not actual jobs. There are other ways to make money in university. So the third way I made money in university would be through participating in case competitions and other competitions that has some sort of monetary prize. This is something that I didn't really know that I could do and make money off of, but you'd be surprised you can make a decent amount of money by participating in these competitions. For example, I did a competition in first year in which the grand prize was like $4,000 split amongst 4 team members, and that's like $1,000 per person. That's the highest range I've seen, but there are other competitions that, it could be ranging from like $50 to like hundreds of dollars per person of a winning team. These competitions are great because not only are you making money, if you do place, you're also working on soft skill development, you're working with a group of friends, and you're building a lot of meaningful relationships along the way. The other thing I like about case competitions is that you can really go and explore your interests, do competitions in whatever field you're interested in. It can also lead to some amazing opportunities outside of your school. So I've participated in like national case competitions among schools, international case competitions, and it really is a cool experience. You meet new people, and if you place within like the top 3, you are bound to get some sort of monetary prize. It's an overall great experience. That being said, you do have to place or win a competition to get a prize typically, but if you don't place, it's still a great experience, and in my opinion, it's not time lost. You'll gain a lot, and in the future it could return like 10 times the amount that you invest in going to these competitions. So number 4 is actually applying for grants and awards at your university. It's something that people don't necessarily see as a way of making money in university, but let me tell you, there's so many grants and awards offered at universities. Oftentimes, not a lot of people even apply to these awards. So just by applying, you can probably have a good chance based on like the number of people who don't apply for some awards. Applications are usually done through like your university's financial portal. That's the case in my experience. And you can sift through like hundreds of different scholarships, awards, bursaries to apply to. And if you fill out some sort of financial profile, you're automatically considered for these awards, scholarships, and grants. And let me tell you, the money that you get from these awards and grants and scholarships is a substantial amount if you qualify. So I'd highly suggest just going and finding as many as you can, applying. I think the barrier here is that people are generally lazy, quote unquote, to apply to these scholarships, bursaries, and awards. But if you can just pass that barrier and make that step and actually apply, I'm sure that you're bound to get some sort of financial award or bursary at university, which would really help you out. And lastly, going into number 5. Number 5 would be investing. Investing is something that people in university don't necessarily see as attainable in my experience. I'm not sure why, because I feel like people should start investing right when they're 18. Even in my opinion, I feel like if I had a 3-year start on investing my money, I would be way ahead of the curve, and I would have loved that. Investing is great because you're setting yourself up for the future to have more money down the line. It is a bit of a learning curve as you have to kind of figure out how to do it, where to look. But typically what I recommend is Wealth Simple. If you're in Canada, they make it very simple through their trade platform to buy and sell stocks, as well as their robo-advisor, which basically invests everything for you on autopilot. I highly recommend checking these platforms out. It's good to put like a little bit of money whenever you can into these investments, because in the long run, typically investments do perform well and you will have some sort of positive return. Just in my experience, obviously there's no guarantee there. It's a whole complicated process, but I really suggest looking into investing. So I actually started investing in the beginning of my 4th year at university, and by the end of 4th year, I had like a substantial amount of return of money, and I could have, if I wanted to, pull that money out and used it to spend, but I decided to just keep it in there and just keep it for the long run. So investing is something that you should definitely consider while in university. In the stock market and in mutual funds. These are just great ways to just kind of build that wealth. So with that being said, just to quickly recap, the 5 ways that I made money in university is by working work-study / part-time positions on campus, by doing summer internships, participating in case competitions and conferences, applying to bursaries, grants, and awards, and by investing in the stock market. I know it sucks that being a student you have to like not only worry about this but worry about like a million different things, but the earlier that you can kind of prepare yourself and make that extra money on the side, trust me, it would really benefit you, because you do want to have some money to spend on discretionary items or just kind of go out, have fun in university, because that's what it's all about. If you enjoyed hearing from my experiences, please give this video a like, and as always, I'm always there for you to reach out to, whether it be on YouTube, on Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you can find me. Feel free to message me, ask any questions you may have. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.